You see that Donald Trump done brought some, what they say, Donald Trump disappointed that them people don't know shit about farming. I told y'all that wasn't them damn people with that farmland that was coming over here. Them is broke ass opportunists that came over here. They don't own no damn land. They ain't got, I told you they ain't got shit to take. They don't own shit. They just took advantage of a situation. Cause they trying to better their life. They at the bottom over there. They're trying to come over here and climb to the top.
If those people are farmers, it means there are 49 farms available. Why are we not expropriating them? Because they've abandoned them. But why is the media not telling us? Because they say these are farmers. Why is the media, through its own investigation, say to us, this picture you see is a farmer at this. They are not farmers. There's no one who left farming here in South Africa. I suspect that those whites were these ones who were looking after cars at the parking lot. They were attending to cars and they went to fetch them there. And they can't live. They will never live the kind of life they live here in South Africa, anywhere else.
He said that those Afrikaners that left, they're not farmers, that they guard parked cars for a living.
What's up, YouTube family? Welcome back to my space. This is Ivan Strayola. Guys, thank you so much for tuning to watch today's episode. I do not take your support for granted. So far, on today's video, we want to discuss about the group of Afrikaners who have already arrived in America. To give this video context, earlier this year, Donald Trump granted white Afrikaners an opportunity to be refugees in America, and some of them will be given housing, some will be given farms for them to go on with their business like usual, like they used to do in Africa. And one of the things that Donald Trump thought that he'd benefit, from the white Afrikaners would be them bringing their farming experience to America. You notice Trump started, mass deportations, and most farms in America have been struggling because they did not have laborers, they did not have the workforce. So Trump decided to chase them, thinking the white Afrikaners would replace these people. They would bring their experience to America and ensure that America has a good supply of food. You'd wonder why Trump took white Afrikaners, in a time when many other people were being chased away from America. Trump decided that the white Afrikaners would be easier to assimilate in America. People knew that Trump had a hidden reason for him to do that. The other day we saw Trump backing off, with his immigration laws, and he said that it's time that now he incorporates the immigrants who are working in the farms, because the farmers are struggling. They do not have the workforce. Trump intended for these white Afrikaners to help, with the farms. But after they noticed that the group of people that already came, did not have experience with farms, that's why he now wants back, the immigrants who are working in these farms. So family, I want to play a series of videos as people explain why Donald Trump is disappointed, that this group of Afrikaners do not know how to handle farm work. And people are saying that indeed there were no genocides in South Africa and the real farmers are still in South Africa farming. So guys, I want you to watch this series of videos. Once they're done, we will get back and do a critical analysis about the same. Let's watch this together, family.
Trump disappointed to learn SA refugees have no farming expertise. They were just a bunch of car guards, he says. Yena ayakui. In a move that has surprised absolutely no one except himself. Umongameli Donald Trump expressed profound disappointment this week upon discovering that the first group of South African refugees admitted I'm not a political commentator. but this is funny. No, makahlale nabo, makabagcine lapho. It's okay. Sizoba right. Besingashoti ngabo anyway.
So, folks, as you may know, there a group of Afrikaners, white South Africans, have come over to the United States this week, and it's first load of South Africans to assist and help revitalize the farming industry in the United States, and it's quite controversial, as you know. Well, Donald Trump is very disappointed to find out that this group of people who just came over this week actually have no farming experience. They have no knowledge of farming, and none of them actually had farms in South Africa. When they found out that they were actually a collection of security guards, actually part-time rappers, and a guy called Bradley who almost bought a tractor once. So this is obviously a real disappointment, PR exercise failure for the Trump administration. There was even one gentleman that thought irrigation was a TikTok challenge.
Did you guys see this? Julius Malema, he lets us know what he thinks about those 49 Afrikaners that went to the US. Listen.
There are no Afrikaners who have been killed here in South Africa. It's not true. And there are no 49 Afrikaners who left South Africa. You all know that. It's a fiction. It's drama. America with drama is number one. That thing is muvango. I don't know what is muvango in Africa. It's just a drama. I believe they landed and then they waited for cameras, took them pictures. The next flight back to South Africa. If those people are farmers, it means there are 49 farms available. Why are we not expropriating them? Because they've abandoned them. But why is the media not telling us? Because they say these are farmers. Why is the media, through its own investigation, say to us, this picture you see is a farmer at this. They are not farmers. There's no one who left farming here in South Africa. I suspect that those whites were these ones who were looking after cars at the parking lot. They were attending to cars and they went to fetch them there. They can't live. They will never live the kind of life they live here in South Africa, anywhere else.
He said that those Afrikaners that left, they're not farmers, that they guard parked cars for a living, or else they would have never left South Africa. Do you think what he's saying is true? Let me know. Comment below.
Did you see that Donald Trump done brought some... What they say, Donald Trump disappointed that them people don't know shit about farming. I told y'all that wasn't them damn people with that farmland that was coming over here. Them is broke-ass opportunists that came over here. They don't own no damn land. I told you they ain't got shit to take. They don't own shit. They just took advantage of a situation. Because they trying to better their life. They at the bottom over there. They trying to come over here and climb to the top. This shit is funny. It's crazy. I said, just what America needs, some more broke-ass, po-ass white folks on government assistance. Since they are the #1 recipients. Despite the BS that they be trying to put out about us. Because think about it. Them people are like 7% of the population over there. And they own 72% of the farmland. Do you think somebody that own them type of acres of the whole farmland, the whole country, somebody that own them type of acres, do you think they just gonna get up and get on the plane and come over here and just leave their shit? Are you crazy? Them people gonna stand over there and fight for that shit to the death. Do you understand me? Ain't nobody finna leave that type of acres of land. I told y'all that's them broke ass people coming over here. Broke, nothing, not a pot to piss in, not a window to throw it out of.
White South Africans are here.
So true. Trump keeps calling them farmers, and that's code. He's going to have them out here working in the fields, doing the jobs that the immigrants he sent away have been doing. Trump is a racist and a classist. 100%. Not only is it code, but these Afrikaners are actually farmers. Not only that, they fought to be farmers. When they first arrived, back in South Africa, and found the Khoi people who were nomadic pastoralists, they stole their pastoral land so they can farm. And of course, they've been farming this stolen land from 1652. And when I say they were farmers, I use the term loosely because they enslaved people. So they weren't exactly doing the hard labor. Importantly is that they owned the land that they stole, they owned the seeds, they owned the labor, they owned the profits, which is the most important thing about farming. They owned all of the profits. And they have been able to keep it that way for, since 1652. However, coming to America means they're coming into capitalism and corporations. So all of that ownerships and profits, it's gonna be very slim to none. Starters, it's gonna be very hard trying to convince Black Americans to go work in their farms. So labor cost is something that they're gonna have to start accounting for. Not to mention, corporations are very greedy, and corporations only know one color, and that is green. They don't care who owns the farm, white, black, whatever. They will take their cut, whether they deserve it or not. And these white South Africans being, well, they're still immigrants, corporations are gonna squeeze every single drop of blood and penny from these people. This is if they can find land to buy in the first place. The land system in America is very well established. I am pretty sure, somebody like George Bush is not just gonna give you his Texas ranch to work just because you're a racist person from South Africa. The bar is a little higher in America. So, and to Rika Yates' comments about Trump being classist and racist, in America, even though, within the racial hierarchy, there is hierarchies. White is not enough. There is levels of whiteness. And if you're a white immigrant, you'll have privileges being a white person, but the white Americans will discriminate against your white ass, okay? Especially if you're coming from Africa. Some of these white people will be xenophobic, especially if you have Dutch ancestry, and some of that ancestry could also be mixed, not just with the Black indigenous populations, but the Asian populations. So if you're not a Aryan or a WASP, these white people will discriminate against you even if you look as white as snow. And white South Africans are not used to they're used to being at the top, no questions asked. But in America, they're gonna find whiteness also has its own factions. So I don't think that's a thing that they are really ready for. Anyway, thank you so much, Rika Yates, for your comments. Everybody, please go and follow this content creator. Let's keep these comments and discussion coming, because this is gonna be hilarious to watch how long these white South Africans last in America.
If you're wondering where all these South Africans are gonna go, don't worry. They already had a plan in place, and it was called Acre Trader. That's right. They already took the farmland from farmers who were failing. As a matter of fact, they have about 40,000 acres of farmland that they took from American farmers because they wouldn't give them subsidies. Acre Trader is an American real estate investment company that specializes in farmland. It says here that the company aims to increase investor access to real estate assets and provides capitals to farmers and growers to expand their business. But what they failed to leave out here is that the first investor into Acre Trader was none other than J.D. Vance. You know J.D. Vance, the one who was in charge of the White House with the president who is cutting all the subsidies to the farmers? Yeah, that J.D. Vance. And what they also failed to mention is the fact that the people who were investing, yeah, they were South Afrikaners. And guess who just came to America to go on these farms? That's right. You guessed it. Are you sick of it yet? Are you sick of it yet? $880 billion being pulled from Medicaid so they can fund tax money going to the rich. Your farmland being taken away from American farmers and being given to South African refugees. People being human trafficked all over the United States and outside of this country for financial gain. Minimum wage is $7.25. hasn't been raised since 2009. You can't afford health care. You can't afford your car insurance. You're probably not going to be able to buy a home anytime soon. And grocery prices are through the roof. And guess who's going to own your food now? The People's Sick Day is coming. It's going to be a 1 to 3 day collection of people who are going to take back their power by setting down. No more showing up for work when you're making peanuts and they're giving away your farmland to foreigners. You better join us, because unless we stand up, none of us are going to win this fight.
All racism aside, I don't appreciate how our government is not sticking up for our fellow white people. I don't like it. Y'all just went over yonder and snatching white people out of Africa to give them money, land, jobs, cell phones, resources. And you ain't help Becky, Karen, Lisa. Y'all ain't holding it down for them. Y'all just gonna throw my fellow white people to the side. I will not stand for it. And I don't think we should. I don't think we should. I don't think you should. Billy, Bob, Colton, how do you feel? They just said, forget y'all. You got to pay $5 for eggs. We'll give you $2 for gas. But you still got to pay $5 for eggs. And you don't have no health care. And we're going to pay you minimum wage that you have to work really hard for. And your kids won't be protected at school. Uncle Sam, what's going on? What's going on? You done turned on your own people. I don't think the founding fathers would like this. I don't know.
White people with less than $100,000 and that own a red hat. Make sense of this for me. America first, but make sense of this for me. The front half of a centaur that's running this country, there's a good joke about Elon being in the back half with a puppet, is currently expediting refugees from South Africa to America with short and long-term housing while you're still poor. Before they helped you, like, anybody with less than 100 grand is poor. You're still poor. I know there's different levels. You're still in the group that is not their friend circle. Probably never will be. Likely will never be. Does it hurt or bother you that this group that's putting America first is now putting South Africans first, who, by the way, got there from where? Not America. They're actually Dutch, French, and German colonists. Make this one make sense to me. I feel like you can't just say, like, they're refugees, they need our help, because if that was the case, is it different because they're white? Just say that then. Just say that.
Y'all, don't worry about these white South Africans coming here. They about to be the new help. You heard me. They are about to be the new help. They got rid of all the people tending the land. All the immigrants that were tending the land are gone. So what they about to do, replace them with the white South African workers. Y'all gonna be working to feed black folks. As y'all should. Get y'all asses over here and do y'all goddamn job. Y'all think y'all getting away from us. Y'all not. Y'all just gonna be working for us. Come on in the room. See, Trump knew he couldn't get our asses out there. There's no way in hell you're gonna get black folks out there to work no kind of land. But he could say, hey, these South Africans are being suppressed. Their land is being taken away from them. They need to come over here and seek retribution. And get y'all asses in the field where the fuck y'all belong. Make sure y'all picking every fucking vegetable and don't miss out on anything. Y'all not getting away from black folks. Y'all gonna be around us a lot more. And unlike the ones in South Africa, we don't give a fuck. You're not gonna be able to call us colored. You're gonna get your dome rocked. So be careful, tread lightly. And remember, we don't see you as African. We see you as colonizers of an apartheid. Welcome to America.
I know many of us have been wondering, why did Trump decide to chase immigrants? You know, we've been seeing a lot of ICE raids, and one of the sectors that has been heavily affected is the farming sector in America. Trump sat down and saw that the farmers are really struggling. We've seen farmers in Nebraska saying, you know, they'll be going bankrupt in the next few months, and now Trump was afraid. He knew the prices of foodstuff would go high. He knew the prices of anything that they get locally from the farms would highly shoot. So he decided that he wants these immigrants back to work on these farms, you know, because his plan that he thought would work did not work for him. He knew that he was going to replace these this group of immigrants with the white Afrikaners who he knew very well, have a lot of experience when it comes to farm works. So let me just give you a little bit of history, you know, about the white Afrikaners in South Africa. They first landed in South Africa, you know, and noticed the Khoikhoi, who are pastoralists, and they stole the lands from them, and they decided to start farming using the workforce of black people who are then in South Africa. You know, so these people were not farming directly. They were using, you know, the black South Africans as their farm people, you know, without paying them, you know, the struggle. Like, they actually colonized them. These were people who had European descent. They came from Europe to South Africa. So for all these years, their lands were being farmed, you know, but they were enjoying the harvest. They were enjoying the profits. They were not paying for their farms to be attended to. That is back then, before South Africa actually got its independence. So the other day when Trump said that this group of people are facing genocide in South Africa, which was later proven to be a lie, you know, Trump decided that he'll grant the white Afrikaners a refugee status in America. And people were asking themselves questions. Donald Trump had an hidden agenda with this group of people, because many a times Trump does not take people, you know, who actually need that support. You know, refugees should be people from a war zone, you know, the real war. People who are being murdered in their own country. It could also be people who are facing famine, you know. The land in which they are in does not produce anything. There are no crops for them. There is no food, you know. They cannot be granted a refugee status, and the government of the United States ensure that their upkeep and everything is going on well. But for the white Afrikaners, it was an exemption, because people later proved that these guys are in fact enjoying life in South Africa more than the large black population already in South Africa. The other day, Julius Malema mentioned and said there is no way the white Afrikaners would leave their farms, their good lands in South Africa, and flee, you know, and go to America. There is no possibility. And Julius Malema mentioned, just like a joke, and said that the only group of people, the only group of white Afrikaners who would leave are people who do not actually have these farms. People who are looking after cars, you know, people who are looking are working in the parking lots and things like that. They would want to go to America to improve their lives, but the real farmers wouldn't move from South Africa. So the other day, Trump noticed that this group of people are actually not bringing what he had thought in America, and he regretted so much. That's why you're seeing right now he's trying to ensure that now the immigrants who he previously had chased, you know, immigrants who he had sent ICE raids towards in their working places, he now wants them to help them work in their farms. He's now saying that these people have been working in America for more than 20 years now. They've been working nicely in the farms, and there is no way the farm owners who love them would now lose, you know, a good workforce because of the immigration laws. So now he wants to turn the immigration laws only for the farmers and the hotel industry. And you wonder why only these two sectors. For the farming sector, Trump had a goal of replacing these people with the white Afrikaners because he knew they had experience. Right now he's noticing that the group that actually came does not have any expertise when it comes to farming. You know, they're highly disappointed. He knew that these people would replace the immigrants. He knew they'd bring the experience. But you notice the group of white Afrikaners who are leaving their countries are only people who are struggling in South Africa. But the real Afrikaners, the real people who've been owning land, are still in their country. They are enjoying, because in fact they are the richest people right now in South Africa. When you look at the South Africa's population, 90% of the population are black folks. You know, the few remaining population is the white people and Indians. So if the white folks, the white Afrikaners in South Africa are really enjoying their land, they wouldn't move, you know, to America for them to get better opportunities, you know. So the people who actually went to America were people who wanted, you know, a better, they were looking for greener pastures. And right now, the government of America has noticed that these people are actually not expatriates in the field that they brought them to. Donald Trump had a hidden reason for bringing these people there. He wasn't bringing them because he just wants to save them, because there are no any genocide in South Africa. You know, he only brought them because he needed them to just take over the people he was chasing then. Trump is actually one guy who likes a lot of colorism. I'd say racism too, because he only chose the white Afrikaners. The other thing that the white Afrikaners did not know is that the white folks, you know, of America would still try to demean them, you know, because now there are white Afrikaners from Africa who have roots, you know, from Europe. They are not originally American, and we know the history of colorism and racism in America. It just had to be difficult later in the years. Guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below about this video. I noticed that people reacted to it on TikTok, and people were actually laughing, saying that they knew this was coming. Like this video so that it can be recommended to other YouTube users, and I'll be very, very grateful. Last but not least, kindly share this video widely and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys, and see you all in our next episode. Goodbye for now.